of a modern renaissance in Mysore and making it a modern state. Basis some few administrative reforms which he did, no doubt about that. Interest-free loans.
But not a freedom fighter.
Certainly not. I mean, what freedom? And see the dichotomy here and the hypocrisy. The same people say India was not even a nation. Only the British gave us a sense of nationhood. The same people say Tipu was a nationalist. He fought for the freedom of India. Both the things can't happen simultaneously. When there was no India, according to you, what India was he fighting for? And he was taking the help of the French to defeat the British.
But they're saying it in the same breath when they say Rani Jhansi, Tatya Tope.
They, again, overnight they take off the Murti, the Guruvayurappan, and they take it to Travancore to a place called Ambalapula. And that place, after Tipu's hold over Malabar went away, that's
the temporary home. What is happening in Bangladesh?
Yeah.
The religious fanatics don't want to believe that it actually happened, like Operation Searchlight, and this was propaganda.
Yeah.
This was written by scholars and people who India. Hurry, you wouldn't have had independence.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Had it not been for India supporting or arming or whatever the freedom fighters of Bangladesh or East Pakistan, you wouldn't have that. So even when there's documentary evidence, the world doesn't want to believe, because at that time the world didn't want to believe that there was a ethnic cleansing happening. And today the world is not willing to believe that there's a religious cleansing happening.
Yeah, it's the same. Every time there's a escape route given, saying, and the same Mohibul Hassan, there's an Edward Moore who's also a contemporary writer, a colonial writer. He writes quite favorably about Tipu Sultan. Now that is accepted as gospel truth. Then, colonial, you can't cherry pick facts. You can't choose what is convenient to you and say that is true and this is not. So this was quite a big project, which, Irfan Habib and his entire ilk, several edited volumes about Tipu's greatness, how he was this, heralder of a modern renaissance in Mysore and making it a modern state. Basis some few administrative reforms which he did, no doubt about that. Interest-free loans.
But not a freedom fighter.
Certainly not. I mean, what freedom? And see the dichotomy here and the hypocrisy. The same people say India was not even a nation. Only the British gave us a sense of nationhood. Nationalism is a cuss word. Anybody who says I'm nationalistic is almost a Sanghi, a bigot and all that. But the same people say Tipu was a nationalist. He fought for the freedom of India. Both the things can't happen simultaneously. When there was no India, according to you, what India was he fighting for? And he was taking the help of the French to defeat the British.
But they're saying it in the same breath when they say Rani Jhansi, Tatya Tope.
That was about 60, 70 years later, and still probably. But even that, honestly speaking, I think they were all fighting for themselves.
Yeah.
It was the
only nationhood concept at that time. Yeah.
Correct. The only good part was there. I think they all joined together as a combined force. Even then, I don't know if they were talking about India and its liberation. They hated the British because of the doctrine of lapse. And there, even the commoners, whether it was the Sepoy Mutiny, as it was called.
So let's come back to the Deccan.
Yeah.
Now because we talk enough about the North, it's necessary for the North to know about
the South.
The South.
Even news anchors ask me, so was Tipu the Aurangzeb of the South? I say, no, Aurangzeb was the Tipu of the North. I think that should be the... Yeah. Why should everything be someone of the, South?
It's like when people say Siri Fort, they say Siri Fort ke samne hai. They say, tum jante bhi ho Siri kahan se aaya? Because they were Sir of, they were Sirs put one on top of the other, Khilji only, I think, and built a fort with the Sir. And where did he get the idea? Probably, or one of them got the idea from the other, was this beheadings that were happening. Since we have already talked about Coorg, and I'll be accused that you're only doing Karnataka, you're not doing the Malabar. So let's go about what he did, the forced mass circumcision, the conversions, the brutality, gang raping of women in the Malabar region.
So all of those, the Kerala as we see today, there were 5 principalities towards the north, which was the Malabar, Chirakkal, Koduttanad, Vatakara, then Calicut and Palaghat. The words are quite tough to pronounce for me, being a non-Malayali. And then there was a Cochin and the southern Kerala, which was Travancore. So all the 5 top, principalities, through deceit, through other ways, Hyder had anyway conquered. Even the Zamorin of Calicut, Manavikrama, he was actually literally burnt himself in the palace to, save himself and so on, and not be converted by Hyder. So those 5 northern principalities were acquired. even Cochin became a vassal state of Mysore. It was only Travancore that kept pushing back and not, succumbing. The Martanda Varma and then, Balarama Varma and all these people who
very rich kingdoms, principalities.
Yes.
These were very wealthy.
Pepper trade, the crops and the fertile, lush greenery everywhere. And so he had put these 5 kingdoms of the north under their control. There was also the Cananor Ali Raja of the Arakkal family, who was the only Muslim ruler there, who was inviting Hyder, his co-religionist, to come and attack. And that is how later the Arakkal Bibi of Cananor also comes into play, who becomes an ally of Tipu. Then she betrays him, comes back, all kinds of things she does. So after these 5 kingdoms of the north are acquired, but the Nayars and the Thiyas and other communities, they never accept Mysore's hegemony. Constant pushing back. So Hyder also commits all those crimes that I mentioned. But I think with Tipu, it goes to an extreme even there. And I think Calicut or Kozhikode faces the maximum brunt of his tortures. 4 lakh people, according to his own words, converted there. And almost all the temples, I've listed the names. Tirunavaya, Trikkandiyur, there are so many names like that which are tough for me to pronounce or remember, but all of them, broken. And there's a journalist called Tirur Dinesh who has written recently, he's done a lot of, field work, gone, the destroyed temples of Kerala or something, where are they, about that. And he's gone and actually verified in the Malappuram district, in Calicut, all these places, Palghat, several such temples. So there's one.
They take the Shivling, run away, hide it somewhere.
That's what our ancestors poor thing did all the time.
So many of them.
From Kashi to Guruvayur, it's the same story across the country. Nathadwara, Srinathji, everywhere. And so here also there's some, I forget the name of the mandir, but there's a Shivlinga which these people try to, attack and so on. The Shivlinga even now bears the marks of the sword on it, but they couldn't apparently take it off, and so their ire falls on the Nandi that is outside, and so they behead it. And even now apparently the place is such that without a headless Nandi that is there. Now when you do a Khandit Murti, you don't do puja to that. So then the Zamorin called for a prashna to be done, the Deva Prashna, and then it came that don't remove this was so sacred that even he could not take it off. So it has not become Khandit, so you can continue the puja and worship there. Even the Guruvayur temple, which all of us go to, there too Tipu's army tried to demolish that, and they again overnight they take off the Murti, the Guruvayurappan, and they take it to Travancore to a place called Ambalapula, and that place, after Tipu's hold over Malabar went away, that's when temporary home, even that is worshipped even now. So there are so many such, again, living memories. These may not be documented. Now the same people who say subaltern history, everything is not documentation, history lives in oral traditions.
So फिर ये क्या है?
These things, but where is the documentation? So this constant thing of shifting goalposts, whatever you say is not enough. I show you oral history, but this is concocted. I show you written evidence, that is exaggeration. Then what do you, as I said, you sit in a room, air-conditioned room in Aligarh, and then cook up these stories. Is that all what we need to believe? These are living examples which people have even to this day. And Calicut too, there are these, Bartholomew, one of these, the missionary who writes, in Calicut how babies would be first killed and hung to the necks of the mothers, who would then have to see their own babies being slaughtered and then hung to their necks, and they were also hung. It's gruesome, the kind of, and I think that is why the Bombay Malayali Samajam and others, when the sword of Tipu Sultan came and none of this was spoken about there. He said this is a huge affront to what our ancestors faced. How can you airbrush history in this manner?